Let's get going with the letter that asks the deepest philosophical question in human existence. Why? Okay, it's also just a letter. Why? Let's do it. We start out by holding our pen. In this case, I know you're using this, right? This is the greatest tool for learning how to do calligraphy and get started. You're going to hold it in the number 4 position, a little bit flatter than normal, to do that initial curve. Starting at the top, make sure it goes straight for just a little bit and then comes down to the 7 or 8 o'clock position. The next stroke, pencil back in, or pen back in what is now a very comfortable normal position, about a 30-degree, 3.5 position. And you come straight down all the way to the baseline, then curve up. Now here's one of those many places in Chancery cursive where we make our pen stand on its hind legs, pop a little wheelie, go. Do you see? I want to show you that motion again in large. So you're coming down, and then you do a curve, and then this part of your hand goes down a little bit so that only this near corner of your pen is making a line on the paper. Now you'll find depending on the pen, it's real easy with pencil, depending on the pen that you're using, some pens will make that line very easily. Others, you'll have to wrestle with them a little bit. And I say that again, partly because I want you to know that wrestling a little bit with your pen nibs is very typical of calligraphy. When you go on YouTube and watch these master calligraphers do their work, it's like magic. Everything they do is perfect. And I want you to know that it took a lot of years of messing and wrestling to get to the point where everything comes out perfect. The next stroke, again, holding your pen at a very traditional 3.5 or 30-degree angle, straight down through the baseline, and then a nice curve this way. Now, again, that curve can be done one of two ways. If the pen you're using works in relationship with the paper so that you can, in fact, push your pen uphill, then you can do it that way. Many times you will not be able to do that stroke. You'll have to do it the quote-unquote correct way, which is you bring this downstroke, stop right there, and then pick your pen up, come over here, and draw or pull the pen toward you, which is, as I say, technically the correct way. You always want to be pulling your pen, not pushing. But again, I'm letting you on the inside, the dirty little secrets of the calligraphy world, that sometimes we cheat. And if you can get away with pushing the pen, you can get away with it. Let's move now. Let's talk about the lowercase. Why? Very similar to the uppercase, little hook at the top, straight down to the baseline, and your pen again goes up on its hind legs, that back corner only. Then the next stroke, straight down, and this time I'll draw the right way, pick up, come over here, and draw the pen into that first curve. Get it? Now, you understand when you're using this wonderful double pencil tool that you have to imagine that if it was a straight pen, these lines would be filled in. But you understand that, don't you? Okay. What about connecting the letter Y to the next letter? As is the case with so many of the Chancery cursive letters, you probably will not connect to the next letter. But again, depending on the context, there might be times in a creative piece, not just exercise, where you just feel like you need that connection. I think the place to do it would be right here, to go into a letter I, for instance. I have no idea what word is spelled with a Y-I, but you can figure something out. But I think that would provide a connection if you really need one. Okay? Not usually. Usually you don't connect a Y at all, but if you need to, you can do it that way. Now, what if the Y is the last letter in a line of type? Now, that's easy and kind of fun. I enjoy this one. You do the curve at the bottom this way, and you actually can run a flourish off the end of this curve like that. Isn't that cool? Yeah, and again, it could be a single curve. It could be a great big curve that comes over the top of the line of type above it. You got the idea. The flourishes, we'll talk about those when we do the whole creative package. But that's where it comes from, is right off the bottom of the Y. Now let's go to the felt tip marker, which is your great friend for practicing calligraphy. It can go with you anywhere, straight down to the baseline, and then kick up on the back corner. Next stroke, straight down, lift up, and then draw the next curve toward you. Got it? Now let's do lowercase. Predictable. Little hook there, straight down, straight, and let's do this in one curve. There we go. And that's really the way it works a lot of times. With just a little curve, you can get away with pushing your pen uphill. With a large curve, many times you can't. Now let's go to the real calligraphy pen, a dip pen, and let's see how it does pushing or pulling those curves. Can I push the pen uphill? We won't really know till we try it. It depends largely on the kind of paper that you're working on and the exact mood of the pen when you're using it. I use a piece of scrap paper up here to make sure my pen is behaving. Let's do that capital Y. Straight and then curve down to the 7 or 8 o'clock position on a clock face. Back to the traditional angle, straight down to the baseline, curve, and then I kick the pen up so it just is writing on that one corner. And again, that the fineness of that line is more attractive than the thickness of that one. Do you see? That's why we use a real calligraphy pen and not just a felt tip marker all the time. Next stroke, coming down, and then drawing the pen to me. Just for fun, let me see what would have happened if I had tried to push my pen up that curve. I don't know if you could hear that. It was that little chatter. As the pen gets drier, the chatter gets louder. But yeah, it was all it could do to do that curve. So that's why most of the time we draw the pen to ourselves instead of pushing it. You can get away with little hooks, little curves, but the big ones not so much. Lowercase y. Again, I'm holding my pen in the traditional angle. Kick up on one corner, drawing down, and let's see if I can do this in one stroke. Yeah, that worked. That didn't have any trouble doing that. One more time, just to clean it up a little bit. Good enough? Why? If you can answer that question, you can be the head of philosophy department. I hope you're following with me. If you're going through the alphabet, this is the penultimate letter, isn't it? Got one more to go. You're doing a great job. Keep practicing. Most of all, have fun with it. Let's keep going.